We definitely want to prioritize these 6 types of content. We did not do a fulsome content inventory, for sure. But what we do know from hearing and reading some of the reports of what has been fed back to the team, news information is really important. So understanding what's happening in each of the different offices, what are the priorities coming down from the CEO's office and the leadership team, what's happening perhaps because the LTSA is a public body, they often get mentioned in the news. Certain things can bubble up about things happening in the community, and there needs to be a way to share that with the internal LTSA community. I think everyone recognizes that news is a pretty fundamental content type in any intranet. As I described, the manuals, which is the detailed practice information and guidance information, is definitely a priority content type for us. People information, so creating a directory of people information and contact profiles to use both to identify the owners on the pages of that content that they own, and also allow people to go into the people directory and find people that they need to get in touch with. This seems like it should be something that exists, but I'm sure many of us just struggle with even just getting up-to-date contact information for people. I can see lots of smiles in the audience, which means it's true. Policy information, which again, I'm sure everyone here can realize is really fundamental to most intranets. And what's the #1 policy that people want to look at? The vacation policy. When can I take my vacation? That seems to be, in my experience, the #1 policy everyone wants to see. Maybe the leave policy, I don't know. But again, having accurate policies up to date and available to people when they need them is really, really critical. And then what's the #1 form that people want to look for? Vacation leave form to fill that out. That's, at least in my experience, every intranet I've ever either built or operated, that usually seems to be the #1 form people are always looking for. So you got to make that available to people. But forms information is really helpful to people just in doing their job, depending on which department you're using or coming from, HR, finance, etc. Making it easy for people to submit forms that doesn't require someone to print something off and write it out in pen and paper or pencil and triplicate and mail it or whatever. So there's a great opportunity there to look at some of the forms that are being used and maybe automate some of that input process and approval and workflow around with some of the technologies that we are building and already have in place. And then the knowledge base articles, as Lisa mentioned, there's quite a lot of that material now, and that includes lots of base articles around how-tos, frequently asked questions, and other informational articles that would be helpful to the user. And I'll just pause to say that when we did a bit of analysis of what's there, we realized that I think 80% of what was in the knowledge base was miscellaneous. So, see, gasp, I told you that would happen. That's right, good gasp, I love that. But the 80-20 rule seems to be at play here, where we're like, we wonder what is that 80% that's considered miscellaneous? We got to look into that and figure out how to take that through some of our processes and make that content more valuable, or get rid of it, right? That's the other thing.